The Opium Label was founded in 2019 by the enigma that is Playboi Carti. Since its creation, the label has developed a stacked roster featuring notable artists like Carson and Destroy Lonely. Whilst the career of those two has grown to considerable heights, it wasn't because of the label. In fact, the Carti-owned Opium is actually quite useless. In this video, we will detail the many faults that this so-called label possesses. Whilst this record label was curated and founded by Playboi Carti, he doesn't actually do much to help his artists, and this is probably the root of all the problems with Opium. Obviously, Carti is well known for his mysterious persona, inactivity on social media, and just overall lack of interaction with his fans, which doesn't particularly bode well for the owner of a record label. It means that Carti can't really support his upcoming artists as well as he'd want to. Wait, does this guy even want to help him? If we look at what he's done to help his artists, there certainly isn't much. The guy doesn't even give him a feature for their albums. Let's take a look at Carson for example. The guy's been signed to Opium since 2019, releasing a few projects since then, but Carti has given him a grand total of 0 features within those years. Now, you might be asking why this is such a big deal. Well, a Carti feature is in fact a big deal. Any piece of Carti material is highly sought after these days. A single feature would increase the sales of his artist drastically. It's the same old story for Destroy Lonely. Although he signed later than Ken, he also hasn't received anything from Playboi Carti, and he's released 2 full studio albums since being signed. At least Ken and Lone have each other. But surely, as the founder of a record label, the least you could do is give your artist a few verses to boost them further. Yet it's almost like he forgot he signed them. Does Playboi Carti even know he has a record label? That question stays relevant throughout this whole video, especially if we look at the promotion for his artist projects. Now, obviously, the blame doesn't only lie with Opium, with artists signed to other labels also, but this video is focused on the Opium Collective, which doesn't help at all. Firstly, the Opium brand doesn't have any social media channels, unlike a group such as Interscope Records. So if the artist wants any social media marketing, they have to focus on promoting it themselves or through bigger artists. Now, the obvious thing to do would be having Carti promote the albums on his pages, especially considering his large following and high impressions. But we all know what Carti is like on social media. I don't think he has ever posted his artists or done any kind of promotion for them. The closest we have come is doing a tour with several of the Opium label, but even that is looking rocky nowadays. So Opium and Carti don't support their artists or do any kind of promotion for them. At the very least, they wouldn't stop them from releasing music, would they? Well, when Carson originally announced A Great Chaos, his upcoming album, it was originally meant to drop all the way back in July. Around the time it was meant to be dropped, however, Ken cryptically broke the news that the album was delayed, leaving Opium fans with a feeling they know all too well. Unlike the others, however, it seemed the delay was not Carson's fault, with him posting another cryptic tweet stating that it's not him and he's doing what he can. Now, I'm not going to say Opium is the main cause for the delay, as I'm sure Interscope has more power for when he releases, but the fact that the Antagonist tour was announced around the original AGC release date may have something to do with it. Now, this is all my speculation, but hear me out. For a tour to be successful, you'd want to be coming off the back of a new album. Now, Destroy Lonely and Homicide Gang, who are both on the tour, have recently released albums, leaving only Ken and Carti to drop. But we know Carti doesn't really like releasing music, so in order for the tour to be more relevant, he prevents Ken from releasing his album in July in order to have it closer to the tour dates, which adds up with Ken's cryptic tweets which say that it is out of his hands. Now, am I painting Carti out to be this evil villain? Maybe, but he doesn't give me faith that he had nothing to do with it. Now, I will be fair to the Opium label, as they have made their name known on the internet, popularising their style of music and fashion. Their whole aesthetic is spread like wildfire and gained a large following on social media sites, with people styling themselves in the all-black, punk-inspired outfits claiming to be Opium. The name is very widely known, but it could just be so much bigger, and it is entirely Playboi Carti's fault. You see, Carti has this thing to do with clearing features and, well, just releasing music in general. A recent example of this can be found with Offset's upcoming album. Offset previewed a track with Carti at his listening party. The snippet would go on to gain a lot of traction on social media, with fans loving the new sound from Carti. It undoubtedly would have been a massive hit, until Offset seemed to confirm that Carti didn't clear the feature. This isn't the first artist Carti has done this to, with Lil Uzi Vert and Kid Cudi also being victims. Even Drake, yes Drake, had struggles getting a feature off Carti. Imagine a world in which Carti clears features and releases his biggest leaks. it would have Carti as one of the biggest artists on the planet, and the Opium Label would skyrocket alongside him. Unfortunately, that world doesn't exist. Instead, we live where the Opium Label is actually kind of pointless, aside from the cool aesthetic. Thank you for watching, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.